So one of the biggest achievements from the Dune movies was to transform hard sci-fi into a pop phenomenon. When you were producing Dune Prophecy, was that a concern, was that a goal, or you tried to follow a different path that doesn't really depends on the movies?
We're more AC/DC than pop.
We're a little bit punk.
We're punk, yeah.
The path you follow is the story you kind of create. Dune Prophecy is largely based on the Sisterhood of Dune by Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson. In that book, they had really, really interesting stories about the kind of the sisterhood, the beginning of the Bene Gesserit. Felt like the great concept to follow, just because they're fascinating characters, and everything that happens in the Dune universe, kind of happens because of the Bene Gesserit.
Such a good way to put it. I haven't heard it phrased like that before, but it did. I mean, I think Denis' films really did kind of capture everybody emotionally the way like a pop phenomenon does. Obviously, the films, in the sense of we're working with HBO and we're working with Legendary and we're creating a series that speaks to the films, and we're working with Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson's novels. But I think what was important for me was the tone that the film struck, in terms of making you feel very immersed, and that it felt real, and it felt like people were like, I don't know, just very lived in and beautiful at the same time. We really went out on a television budget and on a television schedule and tried to reach really high to create a world that would be equally immersive in our corner of the Dune universe. I think the film is its own, you can't compete with that kind of spectacle, and that's its own thing, and we love it, but I feel like we're trying to be our own television series as well.
And in the Dune universe, no one is really purely good or purely evil. And what are the biggest benefits and challenges when you're creating a story like that and when you're crafting your characters?
I really enjoy the show overall, because 99% of shows have somebody that you want to follow straight away, and it's pushed on you. This person, this is the hero that you got to follow. I love this one where you're still trying to work out who you want to believe in, who you want to follow and support. So that makes it very interesting for me, and I love the darkness of it. There's so many happy. It's the difference between the pop and the Sex Pistols. You're still trying to work out who you want to kiss and who you want to kill.
Frank Herbert had some really great quotes. Beware of your heroes, and power attracts the corruptible, and that's kind of a fascinating way to look at characters.
Travis, you already said a little about this universe being punk and etc. And I think that Desmond is really punk, and he's a mysterious guy, where he always seems like he's hiding something, he's always acting in some level. So how is it for you to portray a character like that is full of secrets, and he's always has something to bring to the table?
I enjoy that part of him. He's not a typical person. It's hard to guess what he's thinking or what he's going to do, and I just like that mystery of him, where he keeps you on your toes. And a lot's revealed in the next 2 episodes, which I think will help the audience understand his motives and why he does the things that he does, and where it comes from, and his anger and hurt and hate and all that stuff, what drives him to be that person at the moment. I think he's very lonely. He's scared and lonely, a bit like me.
I found it interesting that Desmond, by himself, he's really interested in mysterious and etc. But I think he shines brighter when you're interacting with other characters, just like the ones portrayed by Mark Strong and Emily Watson. So how was it for you to collaborate with in such a high level?
Yeah, no, it's great. As an actor, it's very enjoyable. Hopefully I didn't embarrass myself too much, man. But it's great working with those guys, and I really enjoy it, And I love the mind games that are played between all of us.
Yeah, not every battle is physical, right? Some battles are...
Yeah, and I love that the characters, especially the women. I feel like Hollywood's gone very physical with women, and I love our show, how intelligent they are, and it's not all about physicality. They're outsmarting all of us boys, and they're great characters and worthy adversaries, and yeah, let's see who wins.
And one of the focuses of the series is the sisterhood right? That far in the future we came to be the Jesuit and
yeah.
etc. But I got struck. It really surprised me that when I was watching some scenes with the youngest sisters, that had some vibe of that I had with some war movies, like when you have the soldiers preparing to go to war and etc. So I was curious if was that some kind of inspiration, if it was the feeling when you were on the set with the other girls. How was it for you? I want to know if it was an inspiration, that's war part of it.
It's interesting you say war, but I think it's to take on the world, isn't it? It's like these women are being trained to kind of go out into the world and kind of take it on in some ways and be powerful within the world in all these different aspects. And so, yeah, the training was kind of intense. Both as an actor, we were doing the training that the acolytes were doing. But yeah, for the sisters there, they are trying to be the best that they can be. You know, the most skillful, be able to do all of these, have all these powers and really hone in on them. All this power that is actually within themselves, that the sisterhood kind of is trying to pull out of them.
Theodosia's journey is directly impacted by the fact that she's Valia's favorite, as it said. So I'm curious about how was it for you to craft this character and how the working with Emily Watson helped in that creation.
It was great actually, because it sort of starts out, she's with the sisters, she's one of the girls, and then Valia sort of plucks her out and takes her on this mission, this journey away from Wallach 9, and I think that's really important to Theo, to have been chosen and to have been seen for her capabilities and for the work that she's put in while at the sisterhood. And working with Emily is great. She's so brilliant. And it means that, I get to do these scenes with an absolutely brilliant seasoned actor. So, lucky for me.
Other thing that struck me in this first episodes is that we see Valia saying out loud that she doesn't want the Harkonnens to be, to accept the fate their traders and the greater houses was trying to apply on them, and 10,000 years later we see where it goes in the movies. And I was curious if you use the movies some way as the events in the movies as an inspiration to mirror in the show, or if you were absolutely focusing on the original books and they're just coincidences, because you have a Harkonnen wanting more power and then you have the ending of Dune Part 2, it's it can't be a coincidence.
I mean, the Harkonnens are so monstrous, so villainous by the time you get to Frank Herbert's books and Denis' film, but they're fascinatingly so. And I think it's been really rich to kind of go back and see them before they were that way, but to see what seeds of that are already within the Harkonnen family. You see a kind of fierceness, I think, to them at this time period. I think you'll see a range as we go forward with the Harkonnen family.
That's nice. So our time's up. So
thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoy Brazil.
Oh my God,
we love it.
Done. Enjoying. Love it. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I run a school for young women. We're not a threat to anyone.